our webinar here today, we have decided to basically illustrate or to make or help rather help the people understand exactly how they can enter this domain. Everybody that is out there is either from the legal background, or it's not only also limited to the IT professionals. Privacy is a field that is a bit technical in knowledge. It's there, right there. If you think about it, it's there at the intersection of technology and law. So people are a bit confused exactly how they should, to enter this field. Because obviously, first of all, if you are from a legal background, you would have trouble understanding the technology. If you are from a technological background, if you're an engineer, if you are working in the cybersecurity, you would have trouble understanding the legal aspect of it because the understanding that goes there is very different. So I think with
All
that
right.
being said, this
So Karthik,
webinar, yes, sorry.
I would say that we take up things from scratch for people who are already interested or they are enthusiastic about privacy, and if they want to build a career in privacy, how should they start? We should address that point because I believe a lot of people who have joined us want that answer from us. They're seeking that answer out of us. So let's go back to the basics, and then we can address how we can build a career in privacy.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is one of the things that I wanted to highlight, that it's not only limited to legal and technological people or the people from those backgrounds. Privacy is a field that is upcoming, and everybody that is out there who is looking to switch to this particular field right now, this is the right time actually, and you're having those right thoughts if you're one of those people. Obviously, if you are thinking that, you need a step by step or a roadmap to actually enter or to take those relevant steps to get into this field right now. And that is what we are here to address right now.
Yeah.
So yes, Akanksha, let's move forward with the webinar.
Yeah.
I'll take this opportunity to introduce myself and my co-host here, that is Akanksha. So Akanksha is a lawyer by profession, and she has been working with Tsaaro as a senior data protection consultant. She's a CIPPE. She has amazing expertise when it comes to privacy as a field and the intricacies that goes behind it. She has worked with multiple clients from various different backgrounds.
Thank you for that humble introduction, Karthik. And now I would like to take opportunity to introduce Karthik as well. Karthik is my colleague and also senior data protection consultant with Tsaaro. He again has expertise in the taking up the data protection impact assessment. And also, he is also well versed with the various data protection laws. If we just not talk about the GDPR, he has expertise in UK GDPR, CCPA, and if we also take up the Singaporean data protection law.
I think coming from you, Akanksha, that means a lot. With that said, I think let's move forward and I'll introduce the organization. So Tsaaro Academy is the reason why we all are here right now. So it's one of those leading organizations that are out there, and that took the right initiative at the right time. It is there to help businesses move forward towards their compliance, as well as helping new age startups secure their application, whether it is a product-based application or the whole organization per se. What we are doing at Tsaaro right now is to make an organization future ready, or rather, if you go about the cybersecurity standards, audit ready. So that is our job here. We are trying to protect the organizations to the best of our expertise, whether we are complying them towards different organizational or regulation laws, or safeguarding them against different threats that are out there in the market right now.
Other than that,
So
Karthik, I would also want to add on to that and talk about Tsaaro Academy, who has taken the initiative to make the professionals ready for this field, to keep their certifications up to the mark so that they are ready to take up all the challenges that we are facing in the world of privacy and technology both. So a lot of credit also goes to Tsaaro Academy, and I think our audiences would also agree to this fact that Tsaaro Academy has played a very crucial role in building people's career as well.
yeah, if you think about it, learning is the first most important step that you can take towards your journey, right? And that is what the whole goal behind Saro Academy is. It is to get you ready towards taking those right steps, understanding, get the right knowledge, and that right kind of exposure that you get to the Saro Academy, whether it is the alumni group or the other various newsletters or different materials that we push out. So I think Saro Academy is pushing a rather good agenda that is getting everything privacy ready, and the people in the right state of mind or in the right track, if you think about it, to make them competent enough to raced against the privacy professionals that are already there in the market.
So, Karthik, when you mentioned about the newsletters, the updates, the help that Tsaaro Academy provides to people, time and again, I would definitely go on to call Tsaaro Academy people's best buddy in their privacy journey.
Definitely, because when I was starting off my journey, I definitely felt that Tsaaro Academy played, if not the most important role. It provided me with the right set of material that I needed to, first of all, understand the basic concept. Because, see, at the top of it, those technical solutions or the technical terms that are out there are fairly difficult to understand, as somebody from a legal background would agree. So, that understanding, or rather, that problem that I had earlier, was something that Tsaaro Academy, through its material, very easily helped me throughout the whole process.
Definitely, Karthik. We'll take it up from here. We'll talk about the subject matter from scratch for the people who are joining in for the first time, or who are privacy enthusiasts who are interested in this field and also want to learn the basic nuances of how do they get started with this career. So let's help them out, Karthik.
So let's first of all discuss the agenda for the webinar. So we felt that a roadmap, in certain ways, you start off with the very first step, you discuss that, and then you move forward as to what different steps as your journey you need to take. At the very beginning, we'll start off with defining what data privacy is, what cybersecurity is. Then again, once you have that in mind, then you move forward to what are the different career options associated with that. Having discussed that, we'll talk about different essential skills that are needed to actually take up those activities that you're applying for. So in the meantime, I'll just discuss the four steps. That was the certifications. So once you have gained that knowledge, certification is more or less the badge that you showcase that you have taken that necessary step, you have walked that entire mile, and are, as of right now, ready and a certified privacy professional. So certification are more or less one of the most important activities that you are going to take through this journey. And last but not the least, that is very important for each and everyone that is trying to make his career there. What is the earning potential that is there in the data privacy field? That is what we will discuss today in our webinar, and we'll try to devise a roadmap that can eventually help you out. And this through this webinar, we hope you get something, you can gain something, and you can understand something, and somewhere down the line it would help you out in your career.
All right, Karthik. So let's try and understand what exactly data privacy is. And I would want to know from you, how did you think of taking up this journey coming from a legal background? So first of all, I would want to know what data privacy is to you, and also how you came to take up this journey when you were coming from a legal background.
Okay, I think a good question, Akanksha. So I'll start off with saying that data privacy is, according to me, a branch of data management. And to think about it, what data privacy means is it means that you're dealing with, or rather, you're handling personal data in compliance with the data protection laws. It means that you are handling personal data in compliance with different regulations that are out there. And you're following, or rather, your organization is following the best privacy practices. So basically, what happens is ensuring data privacy is important for an organization because it involves setting different kind of access controls, first of all, to protect information. And once you have that, maintaining data integrity, rather, is also one of the most important aspects of data privacy. That I personally feel. Again, once you have that as well, getting consent from data subjects is more or less very important as per the data regulations that are out there. Because at the end of the day, data subjects consent is rather one of the most important aspects governing that data that you're collecting. So data privacy, personally for me, needs to be the top priority for businesses, because as soon as you fail to comply with that, you'll have a backlog. And as soon as you fail to comply with that, data privacy issues that will arise definitely within your organization will lead to big losses. So that losses start off with legal action, and they can range off to different financial penalties. Obviously, brand damage will be there. So more or less, according to me, data privacy is that part of data governance, or or rather a larger topic of data governance. So data privacy is revolving on personal data protection. And similarly, I think rather, if you think about it, it's in a practical sense, it deals with different aspects of control processes around different processes, or within different departments of an organization. And this is, I think, how it should be.
Now, can we talk about your journey? How did you think of a career in privacy or data protection as whole? How did it occur
Okay.
to you? I'm also from a legal background. I understand what are learnings do we have from a law career, but again, how did you come across data protection, and how did you think that you should have a proper career in it?
It's a rather a funny story, actually. Uh, I was actually playing one of those video games, one of those online multiplayer video games. So I was wondering regarding the chats that we have, right, on the gaming platforms. It was regarding those chats and the messages that we had, the friend list. I was wondering about that rather one day, and funnily enough, the game itself was about hacking and stealing data. So that the question, it basically it was there in my face right now, that what's happening to my data, rather whatever I'm typing on the game itself, what's happening to that. So that intriguing that curiosity factor in me, it basically triggered that. So I started researching about a bit, and then I came and I basically understood that data privacy is a field which is out there. And recently there have been so many changes in there, because obviously GDPR came out. And then since I was in my law school, I felt that this is the way I need to move forward. I need to push my career in this case, because I always had that kind of affinity towards technology. So I felt that I found my calling as soon as I firstly researched what data privacy is and what I need to do to make my career in it. Since I was in the legal background, the first definite issue that I felt was the huge technology knowledge gap that is out there. Because any legal person would understand that our job right now is to understand different laws, its applicability, and in real life scenarios, just apply them. But technology works in a very different manner. The whole concept and understanding of legal personality or legal person or their knowledge itself stops, and the technology is very different to that. So that is the first issue that I felt of how I should curb my gap there in the technology field. Once that was there, the other technological aspect the issue that I felt was the practical understanding or the practical knowledge. So that is something that I felt that you usually gain through experience. But similarly, what happens in law, right? Everybody that is a lawyer here would understand that whatever we are taught in classrooms or in law school is fairly different to what happens in real life. How courts operate in real life is very different to what we are taught in law school. Similarly, exactly that's what happened. So whatever I was reading, I did understand how to make sense of that. See, by the time I was doing my certifications, I understood what ROPA or a different terminology like a data protection impact assessment is. But the issue that I was facing was, how do I implement that in real life? If I'm given a scenario, how do I maintain a ROPA of that? Of how do I understand those different business procedures? Because that is something that is not taught there. So yeah, this is one of the two issues that I felt in my journey. But yeah, eventually I overcame that.
All right, so that was a great insight about your journey and your share of experiences. But I would say for each person who's not even related to this domain or the data protection domain, I believe everyone would have faced this issue of whenever we're gonna Google something or inquire about something on the internet, the next thing that is we have advertisement which is along the similar lines. So if for any e-commerce website, if I am looking for a pair of jeans, the next set of advertisements that are gonna pop up on my screen are going to about a pair of jeans. Everyone is then trying to sell that pair of jeans to me. So I think everyone has had that kind of experiences. If not, we're talking about gaming. But again, I would also want to put this question out to the audiences, if you've had this experience or not. The similar kind of advertisements are popping up on your screen after you inquire about some product on your mobile phones. So if you've had that experience, please drop a yes in the comment box, and we'll definitely then know that we have been on this journey together.
So, Akanksha, while we're waiting for the audiences to do that, I just wanted to know from your perspective, like, what do you think? See, at the end, data privacy is something that goes hand in hand with cybersecurity. So, I think I already explained to our learners what data privacy is, but rather the technological aspect or the cybersecurity part, that is something that still remains unanswered. So, I would like to pose this question to you, like, what do you think, according to you, is cybersecurity?
All right, Karthik. So if we're taking the example of data protection as a whole, so both data privacy and cybersecurity are subsets of under data protection, and they both of them go hand in hand together. So if we're talking about data privacy, we cannot say that it can be talked of without cybersecurity in isolation. And for me, cybersecurity is something that helps us build the privacy framework for any organization that we are looking at, helps with the compliance measures. So if I'm talking or taking an example of say the traditional method of data protection, it used to be in a way like for restoration of the copies of data, or how we're stacking it, how we're storing it. But the newer methods come together when we are talking about it. The protection of data necessarily needs to have measures around cybersecurity as well. So that is something there. And in today's time, we're looking at a point where crucial business information or crucial business data should be available at all times. But to answer that question, how can we make it possible? We definitely seek help out of cybersecurity. And then we'll have to build some measures to look at the internal and the external threats that are imposed to this critical business data and how the organization is going about it. So if we're looking at data processing of data or maintaining it, or the data sharing process, data privacy is a concern there, but that issue cannot be resolved without cybersecurity. I would say that cybersecurity is kind of taking up the preventive measure to take care of the privacy of data. And that would be my thing about it, my inputs for it. And also, if we're looking at different cybersecurity incidents, the ramifications out of data breach incidents, if we look at, are like of high risk in nature. And cybersecurity helps us with the preventive measures and allows us to keep a safeguard of the protection of data as well.
I think that answers exactly what cybersecurity is. So more or less, I do understand that the more we talk about it, it's pretty evident as of right now that this field, rather the data privacy field, has so much to offer, right? Even if you're looking from a data privacy perspective, you have many different career field option. You have different opportunities to explore. And if you're looking from a cybersecurity angle, then again, that's a whole set of data there. So more or less, the more you enter this field, the more understanding you get about it, the more you would realize how much this field has to offer. So basically, let's discuss what would be the different career options for you. So this is a list that we prepared. Again, it's not exhaustive in nature, but more or less covers the most prominent opportunities that are out there, and that is presented to a professional that is well versed with data privacy and cybersecurity. So moving forward, there's obviously the role of a data protection officer. So anybody who is well versed with data privacy and can take up cybersecurity of an organization will definitely be a right fit for an organization to appoint him as a DPO. So data privacy officer, the data protection and regulation management associate is even an individual that is well versed with cybersecurity and data privacy. So as long as you are from a technical background, or if you have, if so again, this is something that I do not want to limit to an individual. So even if you're not from an IT background and if you're open to learning, this is all it takes, I think. Open to learning different terms and different scenarios or different concepts. That is the key concept to excel within the data privacy field. So as long as you're open to that, both these options will be available to you. So if you want to become a privacy counsel, as long as you have a data good understanding of different regulations that are out there, what needs to be done to make your organization compliant, you would be an ideal fit for a privacy counsel. And especially if you're dealing with vendor risk management, or your organization is an organization that deals with multiple clients at a time, and you're the one who is, and obviously since we're talking about data privacy, those contracts would have a clause about data sharing the exercise. So whenever data sharing is being done within an organization, and you could understand the intricacies of that transfer, and you can help out your organization from a data protection point of view, you would be an ideal fit to make sure that your organization is on the up and up. You can become a legal specialist as well. So these are personally, I feel, the options that you can explore. But again, Akanksha, feel free to
Sure.
mention something that I'm missing out.
So Karthik, I mean, usually what happens in my LinkedIn DMs, the question from, say, students from the legal backgrounds are there that can we make a career in data protection or data privacy if we are from a legal background, because it also has aspects from IT. So can we do that? So, I mean, I think that is one question that overwhelms a lot of people if they are looking at the technological aspects of it. But I think privacy is one career which like welcomes everybody with open arms, and it is totally dynamic in nature. Data protection is one career that helps you learn a new thing one day. I think for each day you have some takeaways from out of the learnings that you've had, and this is one thing that privacy keeps a check on, that you make sure that you learn new things every day.
I think it would be fair to say, Akansha, right, that the past 1 year we had at Tsaaro, it feels like we have already worked in the data privacy field for somewhere around 3 to 4 years. Am I right? Because that's the amount of learning we take away almost every day. So like I said, if you are open to learning, if you want to keep an open mind, and if you have a good understanding of, uh, rather, if you can understand technology at its basic, even if after, if you, even if lacking that technological background, I think you would excel in this field, and this is how you move forward. And I think we already discussed what different roles could be there. So it only is natural to understand what different skills would go there to actually help you, take up the day-to-day activity that would be in your job description.
So
So,
I would want to address one question that is coming from our audiences, that wouldn't we have competition later down the line if we are to enter this field? So Karthik, would you want to answer that?
Pranav, I think that's a fair question. See, everybody can enter this field. The thing is, so like a lawyer, you're not barred, if you do not have that legal knowledge. As soon as you can pass that bar exam, you're free to practice, right? Yeah, it's not that, somebody from a commerce background or a science background cannot use this opportunity. This is where we are coming from. As long as you have that basic understanding of law, you have those right certifications, you have something to prove and a kind of experience to back it, I think anybody can enter this field. And since this privacy field has been in the focus since GDPR came out, so everybody that is out there and that is currently working in this field is learning. So we are on more or less on a similar footing right now. So if you want to, you can join in. And like I said, this is how you do. You take up certain certifications. You work on your personal self. You basically upskill yourself. You have a certain kind of experience to back it up, and you would be ideal to go in this field. So I think that is my answer. Like, obviously, the competition would increase day by day, but isn't it what we're striving forward to, like excellence,
Also,
rather than,
I would want to address the pointer of competition down the line. So that is true, that holds true for any of the career options that you're looking at. For even if you're looking at a plain simple legal career, that would also have some issues with the competition part, because that never stops. That's something very personal to the human being kind, and also people are always competitive, be it any kind of domain or career that you are following.
Akanksha, Shruti asked a very good question. So, as we are moving forward, we have already explored about the opportunities. She's asking a question, I think, which most of the learners would have. That is, can you elaborate a bit about international opportunities for an Indian professional in this field?
So, Karthik, as we already talked about the internationally recognized certifications, and privacy being one domain which is omnipresent. So, somebody, even if they're sitting in the US or say the African region, if they are in the privacy field, then if they have the same kind of certification like a person who's sitting in India, that brings all of us at par at the international level. And I think the international opportunities are same for everyone. If her question is concerning for regarding the Indian professionals, so if you're taking the help of in the internationally recognized certifications, everyone is at par, and we do away with the concept of country-wise professionals, if we look at it.
Also, I'll just add on to that, whatever Akanksha said, Shruti. See, as of right now, we are not, aside from the IT Act in India, we are not actually working for Indian laws right now. We are working for for our clients, obviously, which could be based out of India, but the laws that are applicable to them are more or less about from USA, from EU, UAE, Singapore. So we already are doing what a person in the international market is doing. So we already have that knowledge. So opportunities, obviously, there are. It's just that as soon as you start exploring them, and as soon as you have those right certifications, you can opt for them, and you would be on the similar standing ground. Since we are talking about a roadmap, so I'll say this, like how a career plan should be. It starts off at the very beginning. That is, first of all, you have to develop a knowledge. So that's how you start again. Like in other fields as well, this is how you start in privacy as well. So you start off with learning different core concepts that are associated with privacy. You start reading out different regulations are out there. What are their applicability? What is the scope of work when it comes to privacy program implementation, or rather, if you're talking about impact assessment, what is the different kinds of resultant risk that could be associated with a particular processing activity. So this is how you start off in this field. You start off with developing your knowledge first. You start reading different areas. You start reading books. You start understanding what different laws are out there and how actually they apply to the individual or rather the organizations. That again depends on the type of job that you're looking for. If you're looking for a consultant, obviously you would have to understand how a regulation is applicable to an organization and what an organization can take those steps to make sure that they're compliant to the law. And again, if you're working as a privacy counsel, it's up to you to make sure that whatever your organization's practices are or processes are, how you can align them in such a way that it first of all is safeguarding the rights of the data subjects, and then also is in line with the provisions of different regulations that are out there.
Kartik, we have another question about the extraterritorial jurisdiction of the data protection laws. It is coming from Sia, and can you please help her with that?
So the question is, if a company is not Indian but is located in India, which data privacy would be followed, or data privacy laws are same around the world? See, the thing is, more or less, the provisions of data privacy is similar around the world. That is, at the end of the day, you have to protect the data of data subjects. How you do it is, again, it more or less varies. See, the thing is, if you're talking about the applicability of a law, it comes down to the data subject that we're talking about. So let's say there's a data subject that is based out of Europe and your organization is Indian. So you're collecting data of a European individual. As soon as you're doing that, the European laws would apply to you. As soon as you're collecting data of an individual based out of Kenya, then Kenyan laws will apply to you. This is how you check the applicability. As soon as your organization is basically collecting data, or rather are targeting data of people of a certain country, and as soon as that country has data protection laws, those laws will be applicable to you. I think, I hope my answer was clear.
I would also want to add another pointer. If organization is, say, monitoring data of certain citizens, if we take the example of citizens from the European region, even if that organization is based in India, that relevant data protection law would be the GDPR for them. So if the behavior is also being monitored, then the applicable law would be GDPR again for them.
Also, Akanksha, I think I see a very interesting question that is posted by Tanishq. Akanksha, can you answer what a regular day in the life of a data privacy professional looks like?
All right. So, I mean, currently, if I just give an example of what my day-to-day work looks like for Tsaaro, the organization that I'm associated with. So basically, I help organizations get compliant with the relevant data protection laws. So if say one organization comes to us and they want us to build a privacy program for them, we go on to build a tailor-made program for them in the first place. We help and suggest them with solutions that they can take up to make their privacy more hygienic in nature for the organization. So we primarily go on to help them with the relevant organizational policies. If we say we look at the business requirements that come along with the different data protection laws. If we take an example of GDPR, we help the organizations with creating the records of processing activities for them, also go on to conduct the DPIS for them, which is the data protection impact assessment. We also look at the management systems, the procedures that are there for the organizations. We look at the data breach management systems. We look at the privacy breach management systems also. And then we look at also making the organization be aware of what privacy is all about, so as to not just that team who's working for making the privacy or uplifting the privacy of the organization, but the whole of the organization is aware about what privacy is all about. And if they see any issue or if they want to flag any risk, they're also aware that this is the time we should do it and how we should do it. So that is how we want to build tailor-made programs for organizations, and this is what I think a privacy professional's day-to-day would look like.
Also, Akanksha, I think I would add one thing there. Constantly learning, I think that is also there in the life of a privacy professional, because see, technology at the end of the day is every day it is moving forward. There's almost new changes either by the DPA or rather itself, the technology itself changes. So it's up to you to constantly upskill yourself. So that is also there. So even if the fact that we are privacy professional does not mean that we are not studying or we are not doing certifications to upskill ourselves. That is our job too. So
also, Kartik, I would say that any requirement that comes in from, say, various organizations, there is no straight jacket formula. There is no straight up answer that we have, a straight up solution for that organization. We'll have to look at the structure of the organization, what actual processing activities are they conducting, what kind of applications are they using. So we'll have to take care of all those aspects and then go on to build a specific program to cater the needs of that particular organization. So it is not like that we have a template, we use it for 10 organizations. That cannot be done for privacy, I would say.
I think, Akanksha, there's also one very interesting question that is posted by Shruti. That is, how do a mid-career professional, shift their original field and move into privacy? Would you like to take that up?
Sure. So, I mean, we have too many ways. First, definitely would be learning, but that is for each person to his own. We should be open to learning, first of all. Second would be the internationally recognized certifications, I would say, because that can be a point of penetration for people who are new to the business, who want to enter the field of privacy. And if they want to have a career or start off with their career in privacy, they can take the help of various certifications. To take the example of IAPP certifications, if we are taking up. So CIPP is one certification which can help one person to learn about what privacy is all about. And if we are looking at basic level programs, then we can take certifications for the data protection officer. And if we are going for Tsaaro Academy, we definitely have one certification by the name of data protection fundamentals also. So definitely that should be the way to it.
I think I hope, Shruti, that answers your question. So there's one more question by Pranav. I think I'll take it up. That's whether the figures that we have mentioned here as part of the illustrative salary, is that something that is there for a person with multiple certifications or just for a person with single certification? So the answer to that, Pranav, is neither. It's dependent on basically the person and their skills as a data protection officer or rather as a privacy professional. So as soon as you're working in this field, it does not matter. So see, the thing is, if you basically think about it, even if the fact that you have multiple certification and you do not know how to do your job, eventually somewhere down the line you will fail as a privacy professional. So gaining that understanding and gaining that knowledge is the first step. And once you have that, it does not matter how many certifications you hold. At the end of the day, it matters the kind of work that you're doing and whether the work that you're doing is bringing some kind of benefit to the company. And as soon as it does, your company would be open to recognize you and reward you accordingly. And that's how I think rather for that matter, any job would do. Rather, instead of just going for certifications, you should either opt for knowledge and the understanding of it, of the subject rather.
Definitely, Karthik. I would also want to say that certifications can never be seen as substitution for hard work and learning, for the knowledge that a person has. But we should always be open to learning. Certifications, in a sense, can help you upskill, help you be recognized by the organizations, and also cater to the job requirements. I'll be candid about it, various job requirements also have started to mention about the certifications, whether or not do you have it. So if we have the certification, that can be of help, but definitely it cannot be substituted, or can be seen as a substitution for the skill and knowledge that you have.
And I think there was one second half of this question, that was, should an Indian practitioner go for CIPP-A and the ISO certification? So Pranav, the answer to this is you should ideally opt for the regulation, or rather the target course like CIPP-E, CIPP-US, or A should be based on the fact, based on the job description. So if your organization is operating in Asia and not is dealing with data that is belonging to European citizens and European laws are not applicable to you, CIPP-A would be the way to go. And if your organization is and operating in multiple regulations and CIPP-E is also there, or rather, if your organization is collecting data of European subjects, then CIPP-E again would be a way to go. So that's how you more or less come up with your certifications. You identify which regulations or which different laws are applicable to the organization that I'm working for or am I hoping to join, and then you choose accordingly. But having said that, I would suggest the first foremost step should be, you should go for CIPP-E. That is the European laws. You should get a good understanding of that, learn that basic understanding, you learn the basics of GDPR. See, more or less every law that is out there is derived or is using the similar provisions that are there in GDPR. So as long as you have those, and if you have that good understanding of GDPR provisions, and you understand your way in and out of that, you would succeed in different other regulations out there. And since you can opt for multiple certifications, so nobody is stopping you once you are a CIPP-E. Nobody is stopping you from attaining CIPP-A, CIPP-US. So this is how I would suggest, to streamline your journey a bit. And regarding this ISO certification, so the thing is, ISO certifications are more or less towards cybersecurity professionals. There's this 27701 associated with data privacy, but more or less that is from a technological background. So if you're aiming for a career that is more or less inclined towards cybersecurity and technical field, ISO certifications, lead auditor, lead implementer would be the way to go.
Very well, Karthik. Next, I would want to take up the part of certification. So, as I already mentioned, that Tsaaro Academy has been the best buddy of people in their privacy journey. So, can we talk about the different offerings in terms of certifications that we have from Tsaaro Academy, which can be of help to people who are just starting off their privacy career?
Definitely, Akanksha. So I would first of all, at the very beginning, I'll try to bifurcate those courses into two different aspects. One is theoretical learning, and one is practical learning. So if you're talking about practical learning, then again there is bifurcation there as well. See, IAPP has devised its course in a manner it's like a stepping stone. So at the very beginning, at the very background, at the very basic level, you start off with a CIPP-E. So once you have that, so what would it eventually mean to the industry is, once you have a CIPP certification, it means that you have done, you have a fair understanding of the GDPR provisions. You know exactly what different scenarios GDPR applies, what penalty is, how an organization should react. Then you go for the second step, that is the CIPM. So CIPM is more or less a top-down approach towards an organization. So see, the thing is, privacy is always implemented from an organization, and to understand that from a managerial perspective, you have to understand the top-down approach. So that is where CIPM comes in. You understand from a managerial perspective what are the different implications that are associated with privacy. So CIPM more or less helps you out there, because see, at the end of the day, your career would eventually take you down the path where you would be managing an individual and managing a certain area, or certain rather the privacy aspect of an organization. So you need to have that understanding. CIPT, on the other hand, is the course that is devised for people who have technology background. So if I'm talking about it, in a very broad manner, I would say CIPPE is basically taught from a lawyer's perspective. People are taught about the legal background. People are taught about different laws that are out there. CIPT, on the other hand, is from the technological perspective. You're basically taught from, let's say, just an example. In CIPT, you are taught how to implement privacy by design within an application. So you learn the software development life cycle, and itself you understand how technology and the seven principles of privacy could be embedded in that. So this is where CIPT comes in. So this is more or less the theoretical aspect of it. And regarding the practical side, so what happened was, like I was mentioning about Akanksha in the I think this is one of the issues that I said,
Yeah,
the issues that I faced, that was practical aspect. So I always knew, because I had done all the certifications. I, regularly basically read all the judgments of different DPAs. So I understood what ROPA was, what data protection impact assessment was. I understood that concept. I understood the law governing it, but I didn't know how to apply it to a processing activity. So that is where the practical knowledge comes in. And Tsaaro Academy, I think, has taken this initiative wherein they devised a course just to focus on the practical knowledge. So instead of talking about what data protection impact assessment is, or what a ROPA is, under what article is a ROPA necessary, what are the different exceptions, because we assume you already know that. So once you are,
definitely, Karthik. So I would also want to add on to that. So for the CTDPO certification that Karthik has been talking about for a while, I would not hesitate to call it the elephant in the room among the certifications that have been mentioned here, because all of the certifications help you with the basic knowledge, or the theoretical knowledge around or the case scenarios that are there around the different data protection regulations. But CTDPO is one of the certification which will help you learn the practical aspects of it. As one of the questions was posed here, what does a day of a data protection consultant look like? Then CTDPO is one certification that will answer all your questions here. It will also help you take up various activities, like I mentioned about the ROPA, which is the records of processing activities, the PIA. It will help you understand how do we go on to build a record of processing activities, how do we do that assessment, wherein we are looking at the threats and the risks that are imposed to the organization. So I think this is one of the best courses for a person who's trying to enter the field of privacy and also learn the basic practical aspects for it. So that is for you, the CTDPO, the Certified Tsaaro Data Protection Officer course.
I think, Kancha, you were right to call it as the elephant in the room, because this particular course answered my problems. This is what I felt, and my most of the problems were solved because of that. See, at the end of the day, either you gain your knowledge from experience, or you can fast track that and take this course up. And see, the thing is, if you're going by experience, it's going to take you somewhere around 2 to 3 years of your time, because then only somewhere down the line you would understand what different problems could arise from privacy. Let's say if you're talking about Europa, then somewhere down the line, you would understand what different intricacies that go behind it. This is something that CTDPO as a course is trying to mitigate. And again,
Also,
at the
Karthik,
end of the
when
day,
you mentioned about the case studies, I would want to point out one factor. CTDPO is one certification which also helps you with critical thinking on how to go on to build privacy programs for any requirement that comes up for organizations. As I already mentioned, each requirement for a different organization will always be sole in nature. It won't be a replica of the other issue, other problem, or the other organization's requirement that you were looking at. So CTDPO is one course which also helps you with the critical thinking, and also helps you go on to build different privacy programs later in the end.
also, I think, Kansha, there's a very interesting question by Praveen. That is, what is the difference between ISO 27701 and CIPT? So, Praveen, I would like to answer that. See, 27001 standard is more or less, derived from the 27001 and with more focus towards data privacy. So, what 27701 teaches you is implementing privacy again at the core concepts, like using different standards. So, if you're going by the standard, the 277 standard talks about maintaining ROPAs, implementing privacy by design. So you take that understanding and you implement that within an organization. CIPT, on the other hand, teaches you how to, if I'm being very crude with my knowledge, I would say uh, it teaches you how to implement privacy within the technology itself. So let's say if you're somewhere down the line, if you're developing a software, so CIPT would teach you how your development should go in such a process that it automatically follows the 7 constants of privacy by design. So let's say you would basically the CIPT would teach you to ensure that you build your product in such a way that data minimization is something that is already being followed and not something that once the software has been developed you implement it. So I hope that answered.
That was very well answered, Karthik, and I hope it helps Praveen in the question that he asked us. So that brings us to the conclusive parts of this webinar. So we would want the audience to post any questions, any concluding thoughts that they have for this webinar, any questions that they want to post to both of us, or any questions for the Tsaaro Academy to help you with. So please post down your comments here, the questions that you have. And also on the screen is a code that you can scan and take help of professionals from Tsaaro and Tsaaro Academy to help you with the privacy career. We also have different services to offer to you. One being a pro bono initiative that we have taken up of mentorship, wherein we help you with all your problems, all your pain points, all your questions around privacy. And if you're trying to start a career in privacy, so scan this code and our team will reach out to you for that purpose.
I would just like to add one thing, that is, I'm really appreciative, first of all, for everyone that is joining right now, because see, it's Friday, and again, we are walking towards the weekend. So the fact that you are taking time as such a day, is like a step forward towards your career again. And these steps, basically towards learning, is what will shape your, career towards data privacy. And data privacy is more or less, again, a field for everyone that is open to learning. And I think that's how the whole journey starts. Tanishq, I think, has raised a question, that is, what are OneTrust certifications? So definitely a very good question, Tanishq. OneTrust certifications are more or less the certification that they have developed to basically to help the masses better understand their product. So the certifications that are there from OneTrust is like the OneTrust Privacy Certified Privacy Professional, the Consent Management Expert, DSAR Expert, and other basically certifications are there to basically help understand people that are out there how OneTrust as a tool implements those privacy solutions within an organization. So if you're talking about cookie consent expert, that certification teaches you how to operate that OneTrust module itself. And let's say if you're working in an organization, how you as a privacy professional using OneTrust can implement that solution within the organization and manage the consent on their organization's behalf. This is what the OneTrust certifications are all about.
So that brings us to the end of this webinar. I would want to thank all the audiences for joining in and posting questions, posting the queries with us. We were really happy to help you. And if you want us to be a part of your privacy journey, please connect with the team and they will be of help to you. I would also want to thank Karthik, my co-host for the day, for taking up the questions and answering them very well. I hope all your queries have been answered.
With that note, Akanksha, I just want to take one more question that's very interesting. It's just that Amit had posted a question. Can we skip CIPPE and CIPM and go directly for CTDPO? I'll have to say this, Amit, that basically you should first go for the basic understandings. That is obviously that will take you forward. See, CTDPO is a course that is devised to skip the theoretical part. So the prerequisite attached to CTDPO, pursuing CTDPO, is that you have that basic understanding and basic knowledge. So ideally, you should first either pursue CIDPE or any other basic course along with CIPM. Then you go for CTDPO, because once you have that basic understanding, once your core concept or your basic concepts are clear, only then can you move on to the practical aspect. I hope I answered your question. Okay, I think with that, we are at the end of the session. And again, if you feel like you still have some questions, you're free to contact anybody from the Academy team, myself, Akanksha, or anybody from the whole Tsaaro organization. We would be happy to help you out. That's what our motto is, right? We grow together. That's what Tsaaro is all about.
Thank you everyone for joining in. We had a great time.